Earnest money is one of the most misunderstood parts of a real estate contract. Buyers hear the term, sellers use it to compare offers, and both sides may only recognize its importance when a transaction becomes uncertain. In Northern Virginia, the deposit can affect offer strength, risk, and negotiation leverage, but it is never a substitute for understanding the contract. An earnest money deposit is money a buyer pays after a contract is ratified. It demonstrates good faith and shows an intention to perform. It is not an additional fee. If the transaction closes, the deposit is usually credited toward the buyer's funds due at settlement. If the transaction does not close, the result depends on the contract, contingencies, notices, deadlines, and reason for termination. The central distinction is simple. The deposit itself does not create protection. The contract provides the protection. A small deposit can still be at risk if the buyer fails to follow the agreement. A large deposit can be preserved when a valid contingency is exercised correctly and on time. The important question is what the contract allows each party to do next. Deposit amounts vary across Northern Virginia. Price point, competition, property type, inventory, financing strength, and offer strategy can all influence the amount. Fairfax, Arlington, Alexandria, and other communities do not behave as one market. A condo buyer may face different review issues than a detached home buyer, and nearby neighborhoods can have different demand and negotiation patterns. A larger deposit may make an offer appear more serious in a multiple offer situation, but buyers should never offer an amount they are not prepared to have exposed under the contract. Increasing the deposit just to win a competitive weekend can create unnecessary pressure later. A credible offer is not only about signaling commitment, it is also about choosing terms the buyer can understand and fulfill. Contingencies can provide a contractual path to cancel, renegotiate, or continue when a specific concern arises. Depending on the agreement, those concerns may involve financing, inspection, appraisal, document review, a homeowners association, or the sale of another property. These rights are not automatic. They depend on the exact language, required notices, and deadlines. Finding a costly repair does not by itself guarantee a refund. The buyer may need to deliver a notice, request a remedy, or terminate within a stated period. The same principle applies to financing and appraisal. Concern is not the same as exercising a contractual right. Waiting until the last minute can turn a manageable issue into a deposit dispute. Timing is one of the most common sources of risk. Buyers should calendar the deposit due date, delivery deadline, inspection period, financing milestones, appraisal actions, document review rights, and any notice required for termination. Keep the calendar visible and confirm the deadlines with the professionals handling the transaction. A right that is not exercised as required may not protect the deposit. Buyers should know where the money is going. It may be held by a brokerage, settlement company, attorney, or another authorized escrow holder identified in the contract. Understand how the deposit must be delivered when delivery is complete and how confirmation will be documented. Save receipts, confirmation messages, and copies of notices. Earnest money and the down payment are related, but they are not the same. Earnest money is delivered after ratification and held during the transaction. The down payment is part of the buyer's financing structure and is included among the funds required at settlement. The deposit may be credited toward those funds when the transaction closes, but the amounts serve different purposes before closing. When a transaction becomes uncertain, ask more than, "Do I still want the property?" Ask, "What does the contract allow me to do right now, and what deadline applies?" An appraisal may be low, an inspection may reveal a major problem, financing may change, or document review may raise a concern. Moving from emotion to process can prevent avoidable mistakes. Local context matters because Northern Virginia is not a single market. In one area, competition may encourage a stronger deposit. In another, a longer contingency period may be more important. Property type can change the review process, resale profile, and buyer pool. Commute patterns, school preferences, condition, and inventory also influence how an offer is evaluated. Consider 3 examples. A competitive offer near a major commute route may use a stronger deposit to signal seriousness, but the buyer still needs a realistic financing plan. A condo offer may require careful attention to association documents and review periods. A seller may find that a reasonable price with strong financing and clear timelines is more reliable than a higher price with uncertain terms. Real estate decisions combine numbers and behavior. The numbers include price, payment, taxes, insurance, association fees, repairs, closing costs, and cash reserves. Behavior matters too. Buyers become nervous, sellers become attached to a preferred number, and a low appraisal can change the conversation. Before deciding, ask what the numbers show and what market behavior is signaling. Risk management does not eliminate every risk. It identifies significant risks early and decides which ones are acceptable. A purchase may involve financing, appraisal, inspection, title, condition, and future resale value. A sale may involve pricing too high, launching before the property is ready, or accepting an offer that is difficult to perform. The best plan makes risks visible before deadlines arrive. Avoid 3 common mistakes. First, do not assume earnest money is always refundable. That belief may come from a headline, a prior transaction, or another market. Second, do not miss a contingency deadline because everyone is focused on settlement. Third, do not offer a deposit that exceeds the buyer's available cash or comfort with contractual risk. Review, documentation, and early questions can reduce each mistake. For buyers, do not treat the home search as a list of bedrooms, bathrooms, and price. Treat it as a decision system. Ask about the full monthly cost, applicable rules, likely repairs, ownership period, and cash remaining after closing. Buyers who answer these questions before making an offer are usually calmer and more strategic. For sellers, earnest money is one signal of offer strength, not the entire answer. Evaluate deposit size alongside financing, contingency periods, settlement date, lender information, requested credits, and the overall ability to close. One buyer may offer more earnest money but have uncertain financing. Another may offer less with stronger preparation and clearer terms. For investors and long-term homeowners, test the decision under conservative assumptions. What if repairs cost more than expected? What if rent is lower? What if the property takes longer to sell? A strong decision remains reasonable when conditions are not perfect. Use this checklist. Know the deposit amount, when it is due, who holds it, how delivery is confirmed, and what each contingency permits. Calendar every deadline. Read the default, release, and termination language. Keep copies of notices and confirmations. Match the deposit to the offer strategy and risk tolerance. If a question affects legal rights, taxes, lending, appraisal, or contract performance, ask the appropriate professional before acting. Disputes can delay the release of funds and create stress for both parties. Sellers may believe the deposit should be theirs automatically. Buyers may believe a contingency protects them automatically. Neither assumption is safe without reviewing the full agreement and required procedures. Clear documentation, timely notices, and professional guidance matter when a transaction does not close as expected. The broader lesson is disciplined contract management. Understand the agreement, respect deadlines, document each action, and avoid assumptions. The right decision is specific to the county, neighborhood, property type, price point, financing, timeline, and decision maker. Generic advice can help someone ask a better question, but it cannot replace a property-specific review. Before signing, ask 5 questions. How much is the deposit? When is it due? Who holds it? Under what circumstances can the buyer cancel? What happens if there is a disagreement? Earnest money signals commitment, but the contract determines protection. Every deadline should be treated as part of the transaction, not as an administrative detail. If you are planning to buy, sell, invest, relocate, downsize, or make a real estate decision in Northern Virginia, DCI Homes can help you look at the details that actually matter. If you enjoy our content, please like and subscribe to support the channel. It really helps us keep creating high-quality videos.